Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Today, we're going to be focusing on Julio Jones a little bit more on the channel. He is the big-time star free agent not free agent rather, but trade candidate that we want to be watching moving forward here throughout the offseason, seeing where he could possibly land. Remember, just last week on Undisputed, he said he's out of Atlanta, wants to find a new home amid his trade request. And in this one, we're talking about the Seattle Seahawks. Before we jump into it, let's just take a second, hit that like button. Show us your support here at Utility Sports. Also, subscribe if you are new to the channel. It'd mean a lot. We are closing in on 3,000 subscribers, so it would be very, very awesome if you guys could help push us to that milestone. It means so much. We're probably planning on doing maybe a jersey showcase of what we both have, me and Austin, on the channel here as a 3,000 subscriber special, possibly. And also, we have jersey giveaways planned for the future as well. We're going to be getting those out to you guys as soon as possible, so make sure you guys are subscribed. In this video here now, let's focus on what Diana Rossini is reporting here, saying the Falcons continue to field calls from teams interested in trading for Julio Jones. The Seahawks have had discussions about a possible trade with Atlanta, per sources. In fact, quarterback Russell Wilson and Julio Jones have spoken to discuss the possibility of playing together, which is very big news here. We would see him staying then in the NFC here now, playing in the NFC West if this trade does end up going down. And this is an interesting fit to me. Seattle has two great wide receivers already in Tyler Lockett, who I think is one of the most underrated wide receivers in football, and also DK Metcalf, who is an emerging star, gets better each and every year, and I think he's going to be a very, very, very good player for a long time yet in his career. Adding Julio Jones gives this team a legit another option that you can go to and gives them something a little bit different than what they've already got. Someone who's going to be maybe a little bit more consistent, getting off shorter breaking routes on the outside. I think that's going to be a lot of value to Seattle if they do end up pulling a trigger on a Julio Jones trade. And also looking at Julio here for Seattle, this probably can work because Tyler Lockett can play out of the slot, and also Julio Jones is talented enough where you can put him in the slot, let him do some things from there. They have enough interchangeable pieces. I don't think that DK Metcalf would move to the slot. I see him more as just a true outside wide receiver. Julio Jones, I think, is talented enough to move inside, though, and he's going to be very productive. I think this is a home run for Seattle if they pull a trade here, because Julio Jones is a great deep threat weapon as well. Lockett and Metcalf already are. You have three guys who can stretch the field, gives you a lot of different abilities when it comes to play calling. On the playbook, you're going to be able to open it up, air it out. You've got one of the best deep ball quarterbacks in the NFL in Russell Wilson. He's shown that time and time again. And Julio Jones would be a phenomenal fit in Seattle. And talking about the compensation, if I'm Seattle, I'd be confident sending a first-round pick for the future away to pull in Julio Jones, to be honest. Now, for a wide receiver that's 32 years old, I usually don't think you do that. I think his value should be a second-round pick. But when you're Seattle and you're as close as you are, bringing in someone who is a star like Julio could be worth it. Now, the one holdup here is their pick this year already belongs to the New York Jets, so it would have to be a 2023 first-round pick. So you're looking at pushing a pick out an extra year into advance. But maybe this is the only first-round pick that Atlanta can get their hands on, possibly in a deal. I think a lot of teams are going to be offering second-round picks this year. Maybe Atlanta wants to go find a first-round pick in the future. Seattle could be the team that offers that. Let me know in the comments what you think about a Julio Jones fit in Seattle. I actually really love this fit. This is one I didn't think about too much because I looked at their team and said, well, they have Lockett and they have DK Metcalf. They're not going to be looking at a wide receiver. But if they do want to load up, bring in that wide out, I think it does make a lot of sense. If you're looking at Russell Wilson, there was a little bit of that rumor earlier on that he wasn't super happy with Seattle. Bringing in Julio Jones would solve that issue. We talked a little bit about the Green Bay Packers in the last Julio Jones video, saying how maybe Julio could help mend a relationship with Aaron Rodgers for a short-term duration of time. Well, that would definitely do the case here for Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson does decide he wants Julio Jones in his locker room and on the field with him, this move for Seattle could completely mend that relationship and solve any slight fracture that could be between Russell Wilson and the organization at this point. I think that's a big part of this as well, looking at it. The Seahawks have to do everything they can to keep Russell Wilson, in my opinion, and a move for Julio Jones could perhaps be enough to keep him around. Now, the question mark for me for Seattle is, do they have enough cornerback play to really get to where they want to go, which is Super Bowl contention? Of course, they lost Shaquille Griffin this year. That's a tough loss. He went to Jacksonville. So they've got some pieces that they have to add in yet. They've got to figure some things out. I expect Pete Carroll to really coach up some of those young cornerbacks that they have there. But at this point, Julio Jones to Seattle, very intriguing to me. I actually would really like to see this happen. And I think in that tough division there in the NFC West, you're looking at Seattle bringing in someone who's going to cause a lot of problems for the other defenses in that division. The 49ers don't have the cornerbacks to keep up with a three-headed monster here from Seattle. Looking at the Rams, of course, their pass rush is going to be great. Aaron Donald, the best in the NFL when it comes to that, especially on the interior. But their cornerback play, of course, Jalen Ramsey's there. But you're looking at maybe, a little bit of weakness here at the number 2 and number 3 spot against this loaded Seahawks corner or wide receiver group if they pull in Julio Jones. And of course, the Arizona Cardinals, they do have some question marks as well at cornerback. We've been very vocal about that on the channel here as well. I think that this would be a home run move for Seattle. I think this would put them in leading contention to win that division. I think right now they're probably considered the favorites at this point. But at the end of the day, bringing Julio Jones would only make them this much better and possibly could lead them to another Super Bowl win. We'll see exactly how it happens. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Utility Sports so you don't miss out on any of the content here regarding Julio Jones and his future in the NFL. Thanks guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the very next video.